Your portrait was removed from the hallway in Pyongyang on a Tuesday. No announcement, no ceremony, no explanation. You had passed that hallway every morning for 11 years, had seen your own face among the faces of generals and ministers and men of consequence. On Tuesday, it was there. On Wednesday, it was not. The wall was repainted. The nail hole filled. Within a week, the wall looked as if your portrait had never hung there at all. You are 55 years old. You spent 38 years climbing a system that you believed rewarded loyalty, precision, and performance. You were right. It did reward those things until the moment it needed someone to blame for something and you were standing close enough to be useful. This is how it ends. The question is how it began. You are 17 years old. You did not choose this. In North Korea, military service is not a choice. It is a fact of life, as certain as winter, as unquestioned as the portraits on the wall of every building you have ever entered. You were assigned. You were trained. You were given a rifle and a uniform and placed on a border post in the northern reaches of the country, where the river runs narrow enough that on cold nights you can see the lights of the Chinese side. Your first order is simple. Shoot anyone who enters the water. Not if they reach the other side. Not if they cross. If they enter the water. The first weeks, nothing happens. You stand in the cold and watch the river and try not to think about what you are waiting for. Then one night, a figure moves at the bank. Your sergeant says nothing. You raise your weapon. You fire. The figure falls. You are called in the next morning. In no yelling, no commendation. One question. Did you hesitate? You say no. You are lying. You hesitated for 2 seconds. You will spend the next year making sure you never hesitate again. 3 months after the river, you are promoted to corporal. Not for the shooting, for what happened after. During a patrol briefing, a private in your unit, a boy from Hamhung named Shin, whispered something to the soldier beside him. You were close enough to hear. He said, "Life must be better across the river." You said nothing in the moment. That night, you wrote his name in your report. The next morning, Shin was called to headquarters. By evening, his bunk was empty. The mattress folded. His belongings removed. No one asked where he went. No one said his name again. The other soldiers in the unit stopped talking at night. Yet your sergeant nodded at you that week. Good awareness. You understood something new at that moment. On the border, you survived by shooting. Here, you survive by reporting. The rifle and the pen are the same tool. Both of them point at people. You start watching more closely. Who hesitates? Who complains? Who thinks too much? You are 22 years old. You command 8 men. You were promoted for reliability. Not strength, not intelligence. Reliability. You do what you are told. You report what you see. You do not ask questions that do not need answering. These are the qualities that move men upward in this system. Your new responsibility includes one task that was not explained in your promotion briefing. Every letter from home passes through you first. You read them all. You decide what your men are allowed to receive. Or a letter that says, "I am hungry." You keep it. A letter that says the harvest failed this year. You keep it. A letter that says, "I miss you." Your sister asks about you. Your mother lit incense at the temple. You pass it through. You are 22 years old, and you are deciding what 8 men are allowed to know about their own families. One morning, a private receives a letter you passed through. He reads it in his bunk. He says nothing, but you watch his face while he reads, and you see something in it. Not grief, not complaint, just a private thing. A moment that belongs only to him. You write it in your report as displays appropriate emotional response to family communication. You have learned to name everything. The things you can name, you can control. You are 26 years old. You are sent to Pyongyang. The capital feels different from anywhere you have ever been. Clean streets. Working lights at night. Real meat twice a week. You wear a pressed uniform. You attend officer academy classes. Strategy, logistics, missile theory. You are being shaped into something more than a soldier. But the most important subject in officer academy is not warfare. It is loyalty. Once a week, officers gather for self-criticism sessions. You must confess a weakness, even if you don't have one. I lacked enthusiasm in my morning study. I didn't absorb the leadership speeches deeply enough. I must improve my devotion to the party. If you confess nothing, it signals you are hiding something. You choose your words carefully. Specific enough to sound sincere. Vague enough to be forgettable. One lieutenant makes a different choice. He is brilliant, well-read, but during a briefing, he corrects a superior on a point of missile trajectory. Technically, he is right. Everyone in the room knows he is right. 2 weeks later, he is reassigned to rural logistics. You are given his desk, his clearance level, his apartment. You understand the pattern completely now. Talent is optional. Visibility is dangerous. Loyalty must always be louder than competence. You are 32. You no longer command troops. You command belief. You are assigned as political officer to a missile unit. Even the commanding officer answers to you on ideological matters. Your job is not strategy. Your job is loyalty. Measuring it, maintaining it, reporting deviations before they become problems. Every week, soldiers sit in a circle. They confess weaknesses. I felt tired during drills. I hesitated before reciting the party pledge. I did not study the leadership speeches with full attention. You take notes. If no one confesses, you push harder. Silence means concealment. You start noticing small things. Who claps first when the leader's name is mentioned? Who claps last? Who avoids eye contact during ideological sessions? These are not small things. In this system, small things are the only things that matter. There is a young officer in the unit. Smart, respected, popular, dangerous. He doesn't criticize himself enough in the sessions. His self-criticism is technically correct, but emotionally insufficient. You write in your report, displays subtle individualistic tendencies. 2 weeks later, he is transferred to a labor engineering battalion. Your influence grows. You are invited to higher meetings. Yet you are trusted with sensitive evaluations. Then one afternoon, you are called upstairs. Your superior flips through your reports without looking at you. Your assessments lack urgency. You understand immediately. You built a system of surveillance. Now, you are inside it. There was a letter. It arrived when you were a squad leader, before Pyongyang, before the political officer role, before you understood what you were becoming. It was from your mother. It was addressed to you, not to one of your men. To you personally. You read it in your office alone. She wrote that your father had become sick, that the doctor in their village no longer had medicine to give, that she had been waiting to tell you because she did not want to worry you, that she lit incense every morning for your safety, that she had not eaten a full meal in 3 weeks, but she wanted you to know that she was proud of what you had become. You folded the letter. You put it in your desk drawer. You did not pass it to yourself, because if you had declared it, it would have become a record that you had received information about family hardship, a record that could be used to question your stability, your focus, your commitment. Your father died 4 months later. You found out through a second letter, which you also did not declare. You attended no funeral. You wrote in your own report that week, family circumstances stable, no disruption to operational focus. You are 40 years old. You have a government car with a driver. Your children attend elite schools in Pyongyang. Your parents, before your father died, and while he was still alive, were relocated to better housing. The system rewards loyalty with material things that most North Koreans will never see: imported alcohol at private dinners, a larger apartment, access to foreign films that the population is not permitted to watch. You manage missile readiness reports. Your signature moves resources. Your approval moves careers. But everything is documented. Your phone is monitored. Your driver rarely speaks, and when he does, you suspect he files reports about your conversations. Your security detail changes without notice, which means someone is deciding who has access to you, and you are not that person. Then, a missile test under your oversight malfunctions during rehearsal. It is not catastrophic. Nothing explodes. No one is hurt. But it is recorded. An internal review begins. Yet no accusations, just questions. Why was the timing sequence adjusted? Who approved the readiness assessment? Did the oversight team observe the full protocol? You answer calmly. Your report is accepted. For now, you understand something you should have understood years ago. At this level, mistakes do not disappear. They are filed. They wait. You are 48 years old. You stand on the platform during the military parade, medals on your chest, cameras everywhere. The world sees strength. From the inside, standing on that platform, you feel something different. Not pride, exposure. Every camera is also a record. Every record is a potential piece of evidence. You attend high-level defense councils now. Missile programs, satellite launches, border incidents. Phones are left outside the room. Notes are memorized, not written. Yes, every sentence is measured. Every pause is noticed. At one meeting, a chair is empty. Last month, a general sat in that chair. A man you have known for 20 years. You had dinner with him 6 weeks ago. This month, his chair is empty, and no one in the room looks at it, and no one says his name. A satellite launch fails during testing. Foreign media reports it within minutes. It becomes a national embarrassment. An investigation begins quietly. You are not accused. Not yet. But you are asked to publicly criticize the general whose chair is now empty. If you defend him, you align yourself with failure. If you condemn him, you survive a little longer. You choose your words carefully. He disappears 2 weeks later. You sleep less now. Every knock at the door at night feels like the one that was always coming. You are 52 years old. You are invited inside the highest military council. Private compound. No phones, no written records. You advise directly on national defense. Missile deployments, nuclear posture, strategic messaging. You are closer to power than almost anyone alive. For the first time in your career, you feel genuinely untouchable. Then a missile test fails publicly. Foreign satellites capture it. Foreign news spreads it globally within hours. Silence follows inside the council. No emergency meeting. No immediate blame. That silence is when you know someone is being chosen. Someone whose name will appear in the internal summaries as the responsible party. You are called in at night. No shouting, no threats, just questions. Why was the launch window approved? Who validated the readiness assessment? Did you observe any signs of instability in the preparation phase? You realize something in that room that you have known for 30 years, but never allowed yourself to fully understand. The system does not punish failure. The system punishes exposure. You have defended this system. You have removed others for smaller things than this. You built the walls of this room from the inside. Now you are the thing on the other side of the wall. You are 55 years old. You live in a rural training facility now. No press, no visitors, no access to classified briefings. You still wear the uniform, but no one asks your opinion. Your phone was replaced with a basic model. Your driver was reassigned. Your security detail reduced to one man who does not speak to you. Your name no longer appears in state media. Your portrait was removed from the hallway in Pyongyang. Officially, you were repositioned. Unofficially, you are finished. You wake up at 5 in the morning, just as you did at 17. Only now, no one salutes when you pass. You read reports that once required your signature. They are signed by someone else now. A younger general. Careful, loyal, visible. You understand the pattern that you spent 38 years inside of without ever seeing clearly. You were never climbing. You were being elevated into view. And visibility in this system is always temporary. The North Korean military does not have ranks in the way most armies understand them. In most militaries, a rank is a measure of what you have accomplished. A record of performance, of command, of capability. A rank you earn stays with you. It is yours. In North Korea, a rank is a location. It tells the system where you are standing, so the system knows where to find you when it needs someone to carry the weight of something that went wrong. You were loyal for 38 years. You reported, you condemned, you wrote names into files, you removed people who hesitated. You chose your words carefully in every room you were ever in. And in the end, the system looked at you the same way you once looked at the private who whispered by the river. It wrote your name down.